What's up? Alan Wilson here. Back in the Airstream. Just a quick few updates. The Airstream is still rolling. Worked very hard on it this summer. 8-10 hours sometimes every day non-stop starting last January. So the only thing I really planned to do for myself was the vacation in September, and I decided to give myself a nice break towards the end of December, basically. Just enjoy the holidays and regroup, and anytime I regroup and sort of stop looking at things constantly and revisit them, then new ideas start to flourish and come into play, and I'm not so burnt out. They don't seem so daunting. It's not such a big financial issue. Probably put about $30,000 into the Airstream in the past year, so really just wanted to be smart about it and sort of budget through the holidays, and made it through that. And I also have 3 companies: the Holy Cow Juice, I have the Itemines Co., or the Itemines Collective, and then I have Hype Studios, which is a media production company. So I invested in some camera gear and stuff for the studio and new lighting. It's just finding balance in where my money is going, being distributed, basically. So I took the time to revisit some other things outside of the Airstream as far as my social media platforms, and I knew I would have to change the name of the channel at some point on YouTube, because the Unhippiest Hippie, for one, is a mouthful. For two, anytime you try to Google it or tell someone about it, it pulls up happiest instead of hippiest. And for three, the main reason is that I couldn't get my Instagram associated with my YouTube account, because that was taken on Instagram. So what I did over the past month was secure an Instagram. Well, first, thinking of a name is just a whole thing in itself. So I kept thinking about a name that would portray my lifestyle and all my channels and the things that I do, and I come up with Alan the Creative, because I'm constantly creating things. Like, you all have seen so far just the Airstream build out, but that barely even scratches the surface on all the things that I do and the places I go and the stuff that I do behind the scenes, as far as like cinematography and photography and sewing and travel, just all kinds of things. Like, there's people have been telling me for years that I needed to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, yeah. And there was a part of me like needed to experience a lot of that stuff without messing with the camera and editing and all that. So now I'm revisiting some of those things in my life. Already have experienced them, or the idea once, then I can go back and revisit them and document it. So sort of get used to the process as well. And I come up with Alan the Creative on Instagram. So that account was available. So I established that Alan the Creative account on Instagram, started posting it, getting content built up, doing some sneak peek stuff, and it was finally time to change the name of the YouTube channel. Alan the Creative is a lot more simple. I feel like it describes my life a lot more. I'm just a creative, artistic sort of person, running around this world, not knowing really what I'm doing, but having faith in the process, and just sort of seeing the world and viewing the world from a different perspective than I did for many years. And you know, instead of buying the house that I worked for years, I bought the Airstream and learned that I could do a lot more things than I thought I was capable of, which I surprise myself almost every day, by God's grace, for sure. So if you have a YouTube channel, you know how hard it is for a name, or any kind of name change, or switching names on a platform, or trying to get all your social media platforms together. It can be brutal. It's one of the hardest things with businesses. So I have to treat this sort of like a business because it ties into all my life, my other businesses, my cinematography, photography, travel, hiking, all of that. Because I will be doing all that full time on the road as well, incorporating some of that stuff within this whole Airstream idea. So I just want to do a quick update. I appreciate y'all being patient on any sort of videos. Not that anyone cares anyways, but still, I just thought I should throw it out there, and I hope you follow along on the journey. I'm going to start incorporating some fun stuff as well that I do. So probably, with the YouTube channel, it is cinematography. It's editing. There's many forms of editing. There's the photography that I do. So I've been traveling recently around certain cities and doing like point of view street photography and things like that, which I will do on the road as well in different cities. Basically just exploring. So I hope you tune in for that as well. But the plan is, I live in Kentucky and it's cold. So I am going to jump back in on the Airstream just like I did in 2020. And start budgeting in. I don't have a lot left, so we got the rest of the panels for the ceiling. We got to button up some lighting. I have the belly pan to do, which compared to some of the things that I've done isn't that big of a deal. I have some cabinetry, overhead cabinets to put in, and hopefully I can get some new heavy duty axles and lift it 3 inches up as well, and gas lines, and just button a few things up. So I'll be starting in on that in a couple months to get this thing rolling this year. So get out and experience it, take it out on some trips, and go from there. So as always, I love you all. I appreciate y'all's support, and hopefully this will bring in some more people by diversifying the channel a little bit and sort of incorporating this whole living on the road, traveling, and an Airstream, vlogging, boondocking, off-grid, tiny home aspect with a lot more creative ideas. Because if I don't, then first and foremost, it's the channel's gonna fail because it's gonna be boring. I won't want to make content, y'all won't want to watch it. So I live a very interesting, fun life, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to be here and to live this life. So I would love to be able to share some of that with you all and pick up some new people along the way. And if someone is into travel or cinematography or photography, give them that viewpoint from an Airstream on the road, off-grid, tiny home type situation. So I love y'all. If you're not subscribed, just click the subscribe button. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and until next time, peace.